Hello everybody. How about reviewing another treat? That's what we're going to do today. This is going to be Brach's Maple Nut Goodies. Although the packaging has changed, this is a classic snack treat. I often ate these when I was growing up. When they reached the market, my mom was fond of them and they would often arrive at our house. So I have fond memories of them. I'm going to see how they have made it through these years. Intact? Better? Worse? This is a peanut treat. Since 1904, this company has been in effect. And they want to sweeten life's moments. So I like this straightforward approach to the packaging. It says it's got some toffee and real maple coating and roasted peanuts. I'm very familiar with the smell of roasted peanuts. In my city, the Jif manufacturing plant dwells. So like a magical spell, every once in a while, a large swath of this town is covered with the smell of roasty peanuts. It's not good, it's not bad, there are worse smells, industrial smells, but I mean, and I'm not a big fan of peanut butter. I don't really eat it. I have maybe one spoonful of peanut butter per calendar year. If it's in a treat like a baked good, that's far better for me, but I still don't go out of my way to acquire that stuff. So some of the peanut butter treats on the market I will get on occasion, but it's rare. It's not something I would approach very often. But so the packaging I do think is well done. You have this display of the treats, which is a little bit rakish. But here's the part that I like. This very understated display of the actual product. That's cool, and that's a little bit opposite of the modern fanfare that a company would usually go for. So we've got 4 ounces to get through. I think we're not going to make it. And the colors, a good blend of dark and light purple and pink. So overall, for a maple nut treat, that's not really the color scheme I would go for, but in today's age, I guess more of a rustic kind of earth tone kind of package wouldn't be quite as well received on the market shelf when everything is dazzling and sparkling. Alright everyone, time for the sniff check. Ooh, Brach's being old-fashioned in the intensity that I needed to crack open the package. Yeah, that's definitely a smell from my past. It's just got the smell of sweet peanuts. And a little something else. Could it be the maple? And the maple nuts? Now, toffee is another thing I don't like. Any type of the usual conventional types of toffee that you'll find, they really stick to your teeth. That is the worst effect I think that could ever be happening. And it's not what I consider a good experience. So I stay far, far away from something that's advertised as toffee. Oh, and we got some thunder rolling in. It's going to be a lot of rain over the next day or so. So toffee I avoid. Now, I was at a festival performing this summer, and right at the very end of the last day, there was a toffee ice cream booth, and they were hand making all this gourmet toffee. So I walked past it every day several times, but I never ever really wanted to approach. And so they started giving out $1 amounts, and it was a sizable portion. It was probably their usual $5 cup. and it was maybe a cup of ice cream about this big. The ice cream quality wasn't that good, but they had topped it with a crumbling toffee bits, and it was something that they made themselves, and I couldn't resist for $1. Some ice cream sounded really, really good at that point. And were getting kind of experimental with the flavor, so I wasn't thrilled by the choices they had made, but I was picking around and it was impossible to get past the toffee, so I thought I would just go for it and throw caution to the wind and eat that toffee. And I was amazed. It tasted amazing. It was like the way toffee had developed in the history of toffee making, but something happened when major manufacturers started pushing toffee treats onto the marketplace shelves. It was nothing at all like the toffee that you would find that sticks to your teeth. It tastes icky. So my wariness about this toffee is rising. But I don't really remember any sorts of bad experiences with this treat getting stuck in my teeth or giving me any bad sensations. So let's go for it. It's got a strong smell, and to open a bag of candy, it's much different than most of the candies out there. Not much else to say, just kind of like sweet peanuts. If there's any other notes swimming around in there, they're subtle. The treat itself has an attractive, tan, sandy look. And they are just little blobs, little confectionery globs that are coated in this toffee coating. So it's got a rustic look. It's got the appealing color, I really must say. It looks like a little stone, like a little bit of a tumbled stone. And I do like the color. There's a little bit of striation in there. And I'm excited to give this a go. I'm going to bite off half of it because I don't think that this one really benefits from the full treat being eaten at once. I think it's the same no matter what. All right. I'm getting something akin to flaky layers. There's very much of a well, if you allow it, there's a de-evolution to the outer coating that is kind of a, like it will break away. And inside we have these strange little morsels. It's like, I think that it's kind of a blend, so there are crunchy peanut bits, but there's also kind of like a toffee or a binder, and the bits of peanuts are mixed in among the binder. But the texture's a little hard and gritty, but that's okay with a peanut treat. It's not a black mark at all. Alright, I'm going to experiment more with trying to get this outer shell. You know, something about the way the outer shell breaks down is kind of appealing. It's like it's unfolding off of this peanut egg, and it can be ground down in an interesting way between your teeth. And what you're left with is kind of a mouthful of peanut gravel, soft peanut gravel. So the inner chewy portion is giving a satisfying sweetness, and really, I can feel a lot of salivation rising. So my body must be intrinsically feeling as if this is like a food product instead of just like raw processed glucose. It's not a stellar kind of a treat, but I'm gonna have difficulty giving it low marks. Maybe I'm being influenced by my personal history, but it's interesting. See, normally these old-fashioned candies, I wouldn't really give them a go, or I wouldn't seek them out. I suppose I am dazzled by modern manufacturing methods that will do like a layered treat with all kinds of interesting textures and things built in. But they've done a nice job here. I'm all about the next big thing, usually, and pushing forward. New ideas and technology and things, but sometimes I do have a hankering for good old-fashioned stuff. Alright, so I'm holding the treat in my mouth. It's really unusual, the amount of saliva that's building up. I'm getting almost a mixed nuts sensation, or nut skins, I think. But to me right now it tastes like walnut, honestly. It's not showing any evidence that it's going to break down just by holding it in my mouth. So I also like that it's not coated, or that there's not like a big wax component in the outer shell, and that the flavor is really there. And if I was going to just kind of have this treat like a lozenge or a hard candy, I'm pretty sure this flavor would just stick around until I got to the very chewy center, which at that point would be quite soft from being in my mouth. So it's pleasant. It does taste like I have a slightly sweetened mixed nut treat in my mouth. But there comes a time when we have to bite down. Yeah, it's not in your face at all. The texture is really good. It's not soft. You do kind of have to bite down on it a bit. I was even a little bit timid during that first bite, not wanting to damage my chops. But since this one's been in my mouth for a long time, the inside is a lot softer. And I can almost pick apart the little bitty roasted peanut bits and the top and the kind of the binding agent, which is nice. It's got a graininess, but a lot of these treats I've been eating recently give a really drying sensation in the mouth, like the mouth is shying away from the treat, trying to, shutter all the doors and get away from it. But maybe the most marked thing I can say about these maple nut goodies is that I feel as if my body is reaching out to embrace this treat. So maybe we should investigate the ingredients. Yeah. peanuts are a major player. That's probably what it is. And it's got maple syrup in there. And I guess you can't um, fake it. I mean, if it says maple syrup, it's probably maple syrup. It's, you know, granted, probably an industrial grade, low quality, or a or even maybe a maple syrup like we would not really ever know about, like a confectioner's maple syrup, or something like an aftermarket maple syrup, and a little gelatin and salt. So it seems that the salt and the peanuts and the syrup have created and made for a good experience for me. So I like it. These have to be taken in moderation, though. I mean, I know I guess I've eaten like 3 of them or so, and I'm already kind of over it. But to have them around, and I guess old-fashioned things like this in general are that way. Um, they are sort of meant to be stockpiled and to be taken on the occasions when you really need them or you really want them. So I'm reminded of that movie based on the life of the guy who lived in Alaska, and the plane would come in and it had his strawberry jelly on it, and he just kind of just moderated his use. Really would just use a bit of it at a time, I guess. So that's how I feel about these. I feel good about them. It's seems to me like a little bit more of a natural treat. I gravitate towards raw sugar treats sometimes. I do get a craving for straight up sugar, artificially flavored sugar treats. But I think I'm becoming more discriminating a little bit, especially during the course of these reviews. I do try to give a really, really sensitive approach and work out the nuances of what the candy has to offer. And I think that these do have something good to offer. And I'm a fan. I wonder if they have any other stuff in their range. And it seems that they've not really damaged the product over the years. So it's been a decade since I was eating these with any regularity, maybe even 2 decades. Yeah, at least 2 decades, maybe more. And it just seems like they've just kept on keeping on, so I'm a fan. Go out and get you some Brachs.